So after all that traveling, I am back in the kitchen. But before I get my cooking on, I think I need to play a little bit of Nigerian music just to set the mood in here. Alexa, play some Shino Peters.
Shuffling song by Sir Shino Peters from Spotify.
Okay, what can I say? Maybe my knowledge of Nigerian music is a little bit dated. I've been living in Asia for the last 8 years. Wow, I'm gonna have to do some research to update my playlist. Let's try that, help me out. Post in the comment what I should be listening to. Okay, I think it's time to get on with the cooking. So welcome to another episode of Nigerian Kitchen in my tiny Nigerian kitchen, tiny Nigerian Hong Kong kitchen. I'm Deji. Okay, so today I'm going to be making a Nigerian pepper soup. I guess it makes sense I'm making soup since I've been away to Ukraine and to Shanghai, and in both places I was sampling different ways that those cultures create their soups. I love something about just the simplicity of soup. The fact that you take the abundance of the stuff around you, you just chuck it into a pot and boil it all together, and you can have something that's super tasty. So, you know, with the Ukrainians, there's all the veg grown locally, the beets and carrots and potatoes, and then cooked together with the pork. Whereas in Shanghai, in contrast, again, they've got their own broths they make, but then they've got just those mouthful of deliciousness that is xiaolongbao. So the meat and the soups together inside the dumplings. You know, the Nigerian pepper soup is mainly meat. Normally it would contain things like fish, chicken, goat meat, beef, tripe. Now, when I was younger, I used to eat tripe. As I was eating, I just knew that it was delicious. Shaki, I should say, or tripe, as I now know, is actually part of the stomach. Then I've got some bones, again, to try and make extra stock. I'm going to be trying to do something called double stock. So I've got some of the chicken stock from before. We're going to use the beef bones to try and again extra tasty stock. Then I've got some oxtail and beef ribs. And then in terms of spices, but when I was researching Nigerian soup recipes, there was something called the African nutmeg. Oh, atarodo. This is what's going to provide a little bit of a spiciness and a kick. In English, I think it's called scotch bonnet. The first thing to do will be to roast the bones like I did before with the chicken. Try and get beef stock that we're going to use as a base of our Nigerian pepper soup. So let's clear everything else and get started with this. Okay, so bones and a little bit of oil on them. So I'm just going to rub oil all over that and put this in the oven for 1 hour. Get it all nice and brown. Okay, so next is the tripe. So I'm going to first put it in the pot of water, get it boiled for about 10-15 minutes just to try and get some of the scum and stuff off. And then I'm going to try and attempt to wash it with lemon and salt. This thing really smells. So I've given it a quick rinse. I'm going to stick it in the pot and let it boil now. Okay, so I've cooked this now for about 10-15 minutes. Already a little bit different. I think I've made one error already. So when my mum used to prepare this, she would normally do all the washing and everything before she started any of the cooking process. I'm realizing now I'm gonna have to leave it for about 10-15 minutes for it to cool down before I can do anything to it. Okay, I think that's cold enough. The idea now is to pour a load of salt on this and scrape all over with lemon and then pull off all the fat bits. Lemon, salt, knife. Oh wow, that really works. Getting all of this gunk off from the back. Okay, so I've given that a good scrub all over. I'm going to try and pull off some of these fatty bits. Okay, so I think I'm done getting all those fatty bits off. I'm going to boil it again for another 10 minutes. And then we can actually start cooking the stock. Okay, so the bones are finished roasting. They've been in the oven for about an hour. I've cooked the tripe a second time and I've left it now to rest for a little bit while I waited for the bones. Because actually now the smells are taking me back to my childhood and when I used to love eating this stuff. So I'm just going to chop this up into small bits. I'm going to chuck it into the pressure cooker with the bones and boil away for about an hour and a half. And with the chicken stock that I've cooked from the first episode. So it's still pretty tough. I'm hoping, honestly, after about an hour and a half coming out of the pressure cooker, it will already be a lot softer. Then we're going to add the rest of the meat, all the spices, cook it for another hour, and by that time I am hoping it's just super soft and tender. Okay, so I've cut my tripe into small pieces because I want the final soup to just have equal sized bits of meat, the oxtail and the tripe together. I'm gonna put it in now with the roasted bones and the chicken stock and start getting that pepper soup base in place with the beefiness. Okay, that's looking great. I'm gonna add a little bit more water. Then I'm gonna cover this and leave it in for about an hour and a half. Hopefully by then it's already getting super tender. And then I'm gonna add in the rest of the oxtail and beef ribs. Okay, it's time to check the tripe. Oh wow, that's already so much more tender. Really, wow, really tender. So I'm gonna chop the beef ribs and oxtail into bite-sized pieces, add it into the pot, and it looks like actually the stock is reduced quite a bit. So I'm gonna add a little bit extra water to compensate. No, that's too much work. Okay, I'm not brave enough to put in 2 whole scotch bonnet or atara peppers. I'm gonna go with 1. Seeds in or seeds out? Seeds in, seeds out. Seeds in. Okay, a little bit of salt. Some extra water. Then grating some nutmeg. Okay, I'm going to put that back in for another 40 minutes and then we should have Nigerian pepper soup ready for tasting. Okay, time to serve. Okay, can you believe I don't have a single ladle in my kitchen? I'm going to have to improvise. 2 things need to happen before the taste test. The first is please don't forget to press the like button and subscribe button. The second is that there needs to be a drink that goes with the serving of this pepper soup. And today the drink of choice is the Guinness Stout. Now, some of you non-Nigerians out there might be wondering why the Guinness Stout. You know, Nigeria is actually the 3rd largest Guinness consuming nation in the world, and Guinness has a factory in Nigeria. So when I was making my pepper soup, I don't know why, I was just imagining these Nigerian restaurants with serving pepper soup with Guinness and guys sitting around sipping their soups, drinking their Guinness, watching sport. Somehow I just have this thought in mind, and maybe it's because of when I was younger and going to Nigerian parties, pepper soup was often reserved for the adults and especially the adult male. But I think it is time to taste the pepper soup. So first, just the soup. Ooh, that's good. That actually reminds me of pepper soup I had when I was young. And I can't believe it, just about the right amount of spiciness, of heat. Let's try some of the tripe. I still think for a lot of people it'd be an acquired taste, but honestly this takes me back. I can't remember the last time I have eaten tripe. I'm just thinking it's far cry from when I had it raw and it just didn't smell that pleasant, and it soaked up a lot of the stock while it's been cooking. And it's so soft. The oxtail just falls apart. Every time I just take a spoonful, I get a lovely hit of the heat, but it's actually not overwhelming, and I've still got a lot of the flavour of the stock coming through. That's really good. Okay, for some Guinness. Can't believe it. Honestly, I'm not exaggerating. I wasn't expecting to like this. I think this is the 3rd time in my life I'm ever trying Guinness. The last time was 10 years ago in Ireland, and I can't say I really enjoyed it. I think maybe it's the pairing with the pepper soup. Somehow it just works. I'm so happy. Thank you guys for joining and watching again. Please don't forget to subscribe and press the like button. See you next time on Nigerian Kitchen.
Sorry. I have to ask, what are you listening to?
Nigerian music.
I've actually never heard any Nigerian music.
What? You've never heard of Shina Peters,
No.
Obey,
No.
Sunny Ade, Fela Kuti? Oh my goodness. Do you want to listen?
Yeah, can I? Yeah.
Oh, tell me you're not feeling this.
You can't not feel it.
Okay, you're gonna have to dance.
If you show me. Yeah.
And down. Okay, this one. Open and close. So the women normally wear the wraps, and you just open and close. And open and close.
Okay, so now I have to download this music.
You do. Shina Peters, Shina Mania Part 1.
Done.